We want to look at cracking down on China and big tech. Attorney General Bill Barr slamming American companies yesterday that are doing business with China, trying to get profit before understanding the national security risks. He calls them pawns of Chinese influence.
The ultimate ambition of China's rulers isn't to trade with the United States. It is to raid the United States. If you are an American business leader, appeasing the PRC may bring short-term rewards. But in the end, the PRC's goal is to replace you.
And, of course, this is something you heard here first when I interviewed the Attorney General about this exact subject last month.
Can you tell me a bit about what the CCP is doing? I know there's been a real rethinking of the relationship between the United States and China, and there have been professors indicted. A professor at Harvard who is getting money from Harvard but also getting money from the CCP. Walk us through what the Chinese Communist Party is doing.
In the last decade or so, China has been putting on a great push to supplant us explicitly. They want to be the leader in all the future technologies that are going to dominate the economy. I think this is a competition for the future. They haven't been competing fairly, and the president has confronted this when no one else has. And the American business community has been a big part of the problem because they're willing, ultimately, many of them, to sacrifice the long-term viability of their companies for short-term profit.
Well, I was talking with one money manager the other day, and he said, look, Maria, I'm not going to call good guys and bad guys. It's not my role to call out good guys and bad guys. So, yeah, the growth is in China, and that's where I want to invest.
Well, you know what? We're not speaking German today because the American business in the past didn't think that way.
Joining me right now is the managing director of the Herbold Group and former chief operating officer at Microsoft, Bob Herbold. Bob, it is great to have you back here. What do you make of the AG's comments there that China and the CCP does not want to trade with your company? They want to raid your company.
Well, he's very aggressive here in terms of his attack on U.S.-based multinationals. It really brings the heart of the question to the table, which is, what is a multinational corporation? Normally, in the past, you've abided by the laws of the country, and you've abided by the laws that you believe are sound. If they get really oppressive, you would back off. You also are consistent with the culture of that particular country if you want to really do business. So this smacks of getting right into these issues of those judgments on the acceptability of certain cultural mores, versus how we operate. And if China looks at the food fight that happens every day between politicians, and they say that's ridiculous, and we look at them and say, scolding people for, in fact, violating the principles of how China wants to operate, it's very controversial.
But Bob, look, you are the former chief operating officer of Microsoft, so you've seen some of this firsthand. I think I've told you in the past when you've joined me that Steve Ballmer joined me, the former CEO at Microsoft, and told me that the Chinese Communist Party had been stealing trade secrets from Microsoft for years, costing Microsoft tens of billions of dollars. I understand about going into a country, operating under that country's rules, but do you have to be forced to go into a country and just give up all your trade secrets? Do you have to go in there and say, well, okay, I want to sell to 1.4 billion people, so yeah, here's our patents, and here's how we do things. So ultimately, that Chinese competitor will ultimately take over and be the number one, take your market share? I mean, look at Huawei. What is Huawei? Isn't Huawei a whole bunch of assets of Nortel from Canada?
Well, basically, Huawei has assembled, quite a group of technical people that developed good products, and they're being competitive. But on the other hand, stepping back, if you look at certain practices, It's not necessarily the Communist Party that's doing this. It's individuals that are having the impact. For example, on pilfering software in the early days when they came on CD-ROMs, they were being copied galore. You go into the country simply because you believe that business over the long haul is going to do well. And so you hang in there, even though you know some people are stealing the product. With time, subscriptions emerge, and suddenly you have an acceptable business. So you have to decide yourself what's acceptable, but to view it as the way he is in such stark terms is very controversial.
Yeah, well, sure, because I know that China is a major growth story, and every company wants to sell to the 1.4 billion person population. I get that, but I go back to the situation with Nortel. Huawei was hacking Nortel for years. Then they started hiring Nortel engineers that had put in lots of their trade secrets. Nortel had to go bankrupt. Huawei is now in the Nortel offices in Canada. That's their headquarters. Huawei headquarters is the old Nortel headquarters. Nortel is gone. So is there any reason to worry that you can go and you could just sort of look the other way with all the theft, but there's also a risk your company will disappear and have to go bankrupt because a Chinese competitor will have the cards?
They're committing a crime if they do that, and that's where you draw the line. That's far different than a cultural norm. They're committing a crime. You back away. You don't want to do business with them. You basically ban them from the country, which is what we have done, and we've encouraged other countries to do the same. Then the UK has stepped up. So it's deciding where to draw that line, Maria. And in the case of what has occurred with Huawei, they've assembled quite a company, but the fact is it's right at this juncture to call the question simply because they've crossed the line.
Yeah, well, that's what I think the AG is trying to do. Let me ask you about Twitter and the hacking problem that it's facing. The FBI announcing it will investigate this week's massive breach in which high-profile accounts like former President Obama, Elon Musk, solicited Bitcoin payments. Twitter also revealed overnight that the attackers targeted approximately 130 accounts, but only gained control over a handful, Bob. Twitter basically is telling us, yeah, we have tools within the company to allow our employees to take over your account. Otherwise, this would not have been possible because the hackers controlled the company's insiders' ability to control accounts. So what's your take on all of this?
Twitter was being very sloppy in terms of access to the key tools. And it looks like some so-called spammer got in there and someone clicked the wrong link and gave that person the access to these tools. The thing that's mysterious here is that the individual knew how to operate those tools, which must be very sophisticated in terms of how the company operates. So this one smacks of maybe an employee was involved, either that or a prior employee, simply because the use of the tools was significant in terms of what it generated, and getting access to the PC that those things were mounted on. It's obscene that he was able to do that.
Really fascinating stuff. It's just another hack every day. It's a dangerous world out there. Bob, it's great to talk with you this morning on all of this. Thank you, sir.
Take care, Maria.